Hey guys, it's Darcy here, and today we're just going to go over a couple of quick little settings that you might be missing in Luna. Let's jump into it. Alright, so we're in Luna here, and let's just go over a couple of quick places that, parts of the interface that you might be overlooking that have settings that you want to interact with for whatever reason. So let's just go kind of from like a left to right kind of perspective, okay? If I go over here on the left hand side and select a track, we actually have this 3 toggle here, which will bring up some additional options for you to do. These are really simple things that you do in multiple other places. If you right click on the track, you can also find those options as well as many more in terms of track versions, viewing different parts of the modes, and showing all tracks or only selected tracks. There's a lot of different options here by right clicking on one of the tracks that you may not have realized is there if you hadn't tried it. Right above that, we actually see an option here to make all of your track heights a standard height based off how Luna is configured. So you have your medium default, we have Pico, super small, to extra large. You get the idea. Right above that, we actually have 3 dots, which is going to bring up a timeline settings. So this is going to allow you to turn things on and off. Like, oh, I don't need to see what my signature is, which is your, if it's a 4x4, or 4x4, however you want to say that, your markers, your minutes, your seconds, if you have a loop on, your gain control on the individual clips or the names on the clips or the grid lines if you're, not into that. So that's just a couple of timeline settings you can set yourself up with. Then over here, just above your tracks, you can bring out your track versions. So this is so you can see all your different versions. A very useful tool that you should be utilizing. And then, for things like your grids and your snaps, whenever you see this little arrow, it's a drop down to identify there's more settings. You see the same thing up here with your clicks and your counters, right? Now, one thing people may not have thought to change is your counter. If you want to go from bars and beats to minutes and seconds, or even down to samples. So if I'm clicking through, lot of samples when you get that far, or minutes and seconds, bars and beats. And you'll see that even these over here are changing as I'm flipping them around. So you see that as well. Let's bring that back to bars and beats. And then lastly, we're going to switch the view really quickly. Put me up in the top right corner. And down here on the right, a lot of people may not just kind of glance over this, but these are the same controls from console. So if you hit control room here, you'll bring up your talkback microphone. So if you are, working with somebody who's in a recording booth, then you can communicate to them from there, and you can put your processing on your vocals if you want to process your voice going over the talkback mic. Who knows? Maybe you're going to do something else with it. And then, you also have your cue outputs. You can flip between your different monitoring if you have multiple speakers set up for your output, and all the other kind of relative controls that you would have there. Also, one more thing to throw out here. If you go up to the top here and click this drop down, you will see that we have the session name here, and you can rename this however you want. Take this out, or say it's a C, minor key, however you want to name it. When you hit enter, that's not only going to change the file name, it's going to change the folder structure that this lives within. I like that fact because sometimes you have these applications where it'll change just part of the files, but then the folder that you put in doesn't make sense anymore. So this keeps everything in line and in sync, and I appreciate that feature. Anyways, hope you found this helpful. If you did, let me know that in the comments. Let me know if there's something else I can help you with. And otherwise, have yourself a good day.